The boy didn't knock. He just stood there, trembling. Ethan Cole noticed him the moment he stepped onto the porch. It was late, too late for a child to be wandering alone. The wind carried dust across the empty road, and the fading light of sunset stretched long shadows across the quiet town of Red Hollow. The boy looked no older than 8, barefoot, clothes torn, eyes filled with something no child should ever carry: fear. "Mister," the boy said, his voice barely above a whisper. Ethan didn't move at first. He had seen that look before, too many times. Trouble always came dressed in desperation. "Please," the boy continued, his voice shaking, "help my mama." Ethan exhaled slowly, his jaw tightening. "Where is she?" he asked. The boy turned and pointed toward the dark stretch of land beyond the town. "The forest. She fell. She can't walk anymore." Silence. The wind howled softly between them. Ethan looked past the boy, into the distance, into the kind of darkness that swallowed people whole. "Anyone else with you?" he asked. The boy shook his head quickly. "No, just us." That was the second warning. The first was the hour. The second was the place. That forest wasn't safe. Not for a child, not for anyone. Ethan looked back at the boy, at the dirt on his face, at the fear in his eyes. He could walk away. Many would. But something stopped him. "Stay here," Ethan said, stepping inside. The boy's face fell instantly. "No, please, don't leave." "I'm not," Ethan replied calmly. "I'm getting my gear." The boy didn't move, didn't breathe, until Ethan stepped back out. Gun on his hip, lantern in hand. "Show me." The forest felt wrong. The deeper they walked, the quieter it became. No birds, no wind, just the sound of their footsteps and the boy's uneven breathing. "What's your name?" Ethan asked. "Lucas," the boy replied. "How long has she been there?" Lucas hesitated. "I don't know. It got dark. She told me to run." Ethan frowned slightly. "Told you to run?" Lucas nodded. "She said if I didn't come back with help, I shouldn't come back at all." Ethan stopped walking. That wasn't fear. That was knowledge. "Why would she say that?" he asked quietly. Lucas looked down. "I don't know." But Ethan did. Someone wasn't just lost. Someone was hiding. They found her near a fallen tree. She was barely conscious, one leg twisted unnaturally beneath her, her breathing shallow. "Mama!" Lucas ran to her side. Ethan knelt beside her, his expression hardening. "She's been here too long," he muttered. The woman's eyes fluttered open. For a moment, they were unfocused. Then they landed on Ethan. Fear, not relief. Fear. "Stay away," she whispered weakly. Ethan paused. "I'm here to help." Her hand moved slightly, gripping Lucas's arm. "No, you don't understand." Ethan leaned closer. "Then help me understand," he said. Her lips trembled. "They're coming." The words were barely audible. Ethan's eyes sharpened instantly. "Who?" he asked, but she didn't answer. She lost consciousness. The forest wasn't quiet anymore. Ethan heard it. Faint, distant. Horses. His grip tightened. "How far is town?" he asked quickly. Lucas shook his head. "Too far." Ethan looked down at the woman, then at the boy, then back into the darkness. Decision made. "Listen to me," he said firmly. "I'm going to carry her. You stay close. Don't stop. Don't speak." Lucas nodded quickly. Ethan lifted the woman carefully into his arms. She was lighter than she should have been, and completely defenseless. "Ready?" he asked. "Yes," Lucas whispered, and then they moved. The sound of horses grew louder, closer, too close. Ethan moved faster, his boots crunching against dry leaves, his breathing controlled despite the weight he carried. "They're behind us," Lucas whispered. "I know." "Are they bad men?" Ethan didn't answer, because the truth wouldn't help. They reached the edge of the forest just as the first rider appeared between the trees. Ethan didn't stop, didn't turn, but his voice changed. "Run," he said. Lucas didn't hesitate. They broke into the open land, the town just visible in the distance, but the riders were faster. Shots rang out. Dust exploded at Ethan's feet. He turned, just once. 3 riders, closing in, not random, not lost, hunting. Ethan lowered the woman gently behind a rock formation. "Stay here," he told Lucas, but no. The boy froze. Ethan stood, drew his gun, and stepped forward. The world slowed. The wind stopped. The sound of hooves thundered closer. And then, gunfire. Fast, sharp. 1 rider fell, then another. The 3rd pulled back, retreated. Silence. Ethan stood still for a moment, then turned. Lucas stared at him like he was something more than human. "Are they gone?" the boy asked. "For now," Ethan replied. They reached the cabin long after dark. Ethan laid the woman on the bed carefully. "She needs rest," he said. Lucas sat beside her, holding her hand tightly. "You didn't leave us," he said quietly. Ethan looked at him. "No," he said, "I didn't." Hours later, the woman awoke. Her eyes found Ethan immediately. "You should have left," she said weakly. Ethan leaned against the wall. "Too late for that." She studied him carefully, then whispered, "They'll come back." "I know." "They won't stop." Ethan's expression didn't change. "Neither will I."